Welcome to Audio Games Tutorial, a place where you can find walkthroughs and tutorials for accessible games for the blind and visually impaired.
Hey there everyone, so this is Wong here again. So as requested, I will be playing Voice of the Ancient today. So basically, by the way, this is my first content on my own. I mean, for iOS, because previously iOS content is mostly recorded by my friends, but now I'm doing it by my own. So basically, this game is about solving puzzle kind of game. If you played Blind Quest, it's the similar, just this one doesn't have any combat. It's only solving puzzle and completing the storyline. But the special thing about this game is that you don't have a virtual option. I mean, you don't have the option to choose, but you have to. I mean, you don't have the on-screen option to choose, but you have to control the game using your own voice. So I hope my voice will be recorded in the thing. I don't know about the screen recorder, honestly, but yeah. So here.
Recently added. My DSN. Recently added folder. My DSN. PayPal. VOTA.
Here.
VOTA would like to access my alert. VOTA would like to access the microphone. For controlling the game with your voice. Language. Default. Speaking rate. 100. Battery level. 80%.
Okay.
80%.
That is my automation.
70%. Vote for controlling the game with your voice. 55. 60%. Vote for controlling 50%. Vote for controlling the game. VOTA would like to access the microphone. For controlling the game with your voice. Don't allow.
Sure.
Allow button. Alert. VOTA would like to access speech recognition. Speech data from this app will be sent to Apple to process your requests. Don't allow. Allow button. VOTA. Episode 1. Falling into the dark.
So this game does have episode, and the free one is only for episode 1, and you have to purchase episode 2 and 3 if you want to continue the storyline. But in this case, I won't purchase, I think, because it's too pricey for me.
Start game button. Episodes button.
So here are the main menu.
Info button. Settings button. Settings button.
Let's go
Info button. Info. Our data handling policy. We collect recognized commands to improve our game engine, add new command variants, synonyms, etc. We use a sampling used resources. This game uses these sounds from freesound.org. Mystical ambiance numbers. Our data info.
All about the credits. Don't think I will read them
back
all.
button.
So I'm just gonna press the back button.
Settings. Settings. Language. Selected. English. Button. 1. Maggie. Narrator voice. Daniel. Picker item. Adjustable. 9 of 41.
So you can choose which voice you want to use as the story narrator. You can use swipe up and swipe down, because this one is
Daniel. Picker item. Adjustable. 9 of 41. Martha. Grandma. Martha.
Greetings, adventurer. I'll be the storyteller during
Grandpa. Flo. Eddie. Reed. Sandy. Arthur.
Greetings, adventurer.
Moira.
Greetings, adventurer.
Rishi.
Greetings, adventurer.
Ava.
Greetings,
Enhanced.
adventurer. I'll be the storyteller during your journey.
Joel.
Greetings,
Enhanced.
adventurer. I'll be the storyteller.
Tom.
Greetings,
Enhanced.
adventurer.
Noel.
Greetings,
Enhanced. Flo. Fred. Rocco. Shelley. Grandma. Eddie. Grandpa. Kathy. Reed. Nikki.
Greetings,
Aaron.
Greetings,
Samantha. Greetings, adventurer. Sandy. Junior. Ava.
Greetings, adventurer.
Ralph. Tessa.
Greetings,
Alex.
Greetings,
Enhanced.
adventurer. I'll be the storyteller. Greetings,
Alex.
adventurer.
Enhanced.
I'll be the storyteller
So
during
you
your
can
journey.
choose which voice you like. It's in the system. I mean, it's using your system voices. So yeah.
Tessa.
Greetings.
Ralph. Ava. Junior. Sandy. Samantha. Aaron. Samantha. Nikki. Reed. Kat. Reed.
Greetings, adventurer.
So just go
I'll
with
be
it.
the storyteller during.
Kath. Grant. Eddie. Grant. Shell. Rock. Fred. Flo. Noel.
Greetings.
Tom.
You
Joel.
can-
Ava.
you can-
Rishi. Moira. Arthur. Sand. Reed. Eddie. Reed.
Greetings, adventurer. I'll be the storyteller during your journey.
Eddie, Flo, Grandpa, Grandma, Martha,
Greeting.
Dan, Shelley, Rock, Jamie, Sir, Catherine, Karen, Gordon,
Greetings.
Lee, and Han, Lee,
Greetings,
Lee,
adventurer.
and
I'll be the
Hans,
storyteller.
Gordon,
Greetings,
Karen,
Greetings, adventure.
Catherine,
Greetings,
Serena, Jamie,
Greetings,
Premium.
adventurer. I'll be the storyteller during your journey.
So I hope you guys won't get annoyed by the rain sound. It's raining outside here currently when I'm recording this.
Rocco,
Greetings.
Shelley, Dan, Mark,
I don't know
Grant,
if it's supposed to
Eddie,
sound
Reed,
good.
Art,
Maybe I will
Rishi,
go-
Ava, Joel, Rishi, Ava, and
Greetings,
Hans.
adventurer.
Maybe
I'll be
this
the
one?
storyteller during
Voice
your journey.
Selected, fast, but
Greetings,
normal,
adventurer.
button,
I'll
one
be
of
the
three.
storyteller during your journey.
So
Okay.
faster, restart, dip, back, button.
I'm okay with this. And then just
Episode 1, start game, button.
we start episode 1.
Start game, dip, in progress. In progress, episode 1. Fall, episode 1.
Falling
Greetings,
into the dark.
Game in
Adventurer.
progress.
You can control this game with your voice. You can give commands after the beep. If you need some assistance, say help.
Okay. Thank
Let's
you.
start. Voice of the Ancients. Episode 1.
So basically you can just put aside the phone because you don't even have to use them.
Our story begins in Algeria in the spring of 1932, on the border of the Sahara and the Atlas Mountains. You are marching towards the distant cliffside with a small group of legionaries in the desert. The sun is burning your skin, but you already have time to get used to it because you're starting your 4th year in the Legion. You fled here from your previous life and left everything and everyone behind. By the time the sun goes down, you have reached the foot of the mountains. You set up tents and organize guard duty on the hillside. You're in the first group. The evening passes without any events. You're alone in the middle of nowhere. When your service is over, you fall asleep immediately in your tent. The sound of gunshots and shouting wakes you abruptly. Your team is under attack. You grab your weapon and go outside. You hear more shots from the middle of the camp. You can go in 2 directions. To the west, you could get closer to the fight under the cover of the tents. To the east, there is an outcrop of rocks around the camp. You might get a better vantage point of the fight from there. Choose to go to the west under the tents or sneak to the east behind the rocks.
Go to the east.
As you progress, you see the attackers shooting from the top of a protrusion. You climb up to the cliff. 5 raiders ambushed your team. 2 of them are lying dead on the ground. The others are looking away, not expecting an attack from your direction. Your position is not ideal. You could try to shoot them, but the odds are against you. Or you could order them to surrender, but you won't stand a chance if they decide to attack instead. Choose what you do. Do you call on the raiders to surrender or try to shoot them one after the other?
Ask them to surrender.
You command the attackers to raise their hands. They turn around and look down the barrel of your gun. At first, they don't know what to do, but in the end, none of them dare to risk being shot, and they all decide to surrender. You tie up the captives and collect the fallen. One of your teammates, Adalbert Christopher, is missing. Chris usually keeps to himself so the others aren't concerned. You decide to search the area. Suddenly, you hear a loud moan from near the tents. You gasp as you find Christopher in a pool of blood. A bullet hit his stomach. As you turn around to get help, you hear him whispering under his breath.
The diary. My diary.
Okay, so
Please.
this one is not real. That one is not a real pre-record.
As he
voice.
breathes his last, his body turns over, and you see that he is holding a small leather-bound book close to his chest. You're unsure what to do, but your curiosity gets the better of
it's not a
you.
real voice
As you
actor.
take the book from his hand, a letter falls out. You can't help but glance at it. It reads,
My son, I finally found a trace. Gustav's notes points to a stronghold near a branch of the Niger River. I hope to investigate myself and find a trace of the temple, but I fear the society turned against me, so I'm sending you my diary. I'm sorry to place this terrible burden on you, but the society must never find the temple. Be careful. You know that the state of the world depends on it.
You feel the desperation of the writer in those words. You flip through the book, which is full of notes,
Game in
scribbles,
progress.
drawings, and the designs of a temple somewhere in Africa. Unfortunately, you can't find anything about the location of this temple. A dedicated chapter is about another structure that seems like a fortress. There is a map to the fortress in the diary. It is near the river Niger. This is probably what Christopher's father mentioned in the letter. You can't help but notice that the last pages are full of sketches of jewels, rubies, gems, and treasures, with the title Beyond Good and Evil. Unlimited Power. You feel overwhelmed with all that's happened in just an hour. Deep in thought, you slip a diary into your pocket and return to your mates. It's morning by the time you bury the dead. Your team returns to the garrison with the prisoners. You are utterly exhausted. You unpack your gear and go to sleep. The following day, you wake up alone in the barrack. You are not on duty, but you must report the attack to your superiors in the officers' quarters. You're in the barracks of the garrison. The beds are lined up next to the walls. There is no one here. Everyone is up. A double door opens to the courtyard to the east. A locked iron door leads to the storage room on the north side. There are several commands you can take to look around in the fortress. You can go in different directions, talk to people, pick up and use objects. If you need assistance at any time, say help after the beep. Your first task is to go to the officers' quarters in the courtyard to the east. To do this, say, go to the east after the sound Q.
Go to the east.
The courtyard is wide, surrounded by ground floor buildings. The morning sun is beating down with brutal force. There's no one outside. A little further away, a red-headed sergeant exercises with some unfortunate soldiers in detention. The fort is rather bleak. The yard is just an empty sandy spot with a whale and a few sticks of palm trees. Walls surround the garrison, with a north-facing entrance gate. The most prominent building is the officers' quarters to the south. Next to the wall, to the west, are the barracks and the warehouse building where you came from. There is also the canteen to the east.
Go to the south.
You enter the officers' quarters. There is a reception desk in the middle of the room and offices behind it. The receptionist is Francois, a low-ranking drunkard. He always smells of alcohol, even while on duty. He calls when he notices you.
You're late. The commander and the general will see you now.
You enter the room behind Francois. The commander sits at his desk, dwarfed by the man behind him. His tall, dark figure is all you see, standing by the window, silhouetted by the blinding rays of the scorching sun. You can't make out his face, but you presume he's the general. You start to give your report, but the shadowy man cuts you off.
We know all about your adventure in the mountains, Private, but tell me, was Adalbert Christopher with you at the ambush?
You tell them that Christopher was among the casualties.
That's a tragedy, of course. My deepest condolences. Oh, by the way, did he leave any of his possessions with you?
You feel unease, and you can sense the eagerness in his voice. You carefully choose your words and tell him that the few possessions were already divided among the legionaries. A pocket knife, a small mirror, and a comb are the sort of things the general can compose by himself. You hear the disappointment in his voice.
That will be all, Private. Dismissed.
You leave the office and close the door behind you. Francois looks at you like he hit the jackpot.
You know, I heard the commander and the general debating for hours. I heard some things that might interest you. I'll tell you more if you bring me a bottle of whiskey.
Francois leaves it at that and gets back to his paperwork. You have a bad feeling about the whole affair. The general clearly knows about the diary, but your instinct tells you not to reveal it to anyone. What is going on exactly? You decide that Francois may be useful for once. It would help if you got him that bottle to loosen his tongue. To the north of the building is the door to the courtyard where you came in.
Go north.
When you return to a previously explored place, I won't tell you the full description, just a short name and the possible ways from the room. If you want to know the details of the place, say look around after the beep.
Right?
You're in the middle of the courtyard. The entrance gate is to the north. You came out from the officers' quarters to the south. The barracks are to the west. The canteen is to the east.
Go to the east.
Entering the canteen feels like time has stopped. Sunlight barely creeps through the shut windows as a slow fan rumbles continuously. Even though it's early, some off-duty legionnaires are already drinking at a table. Behind the counter, the bartender is washing the glasses. To the west, you can return to the courtyard out the door. You should talk with the bartender to get a whiskey for Francois. To do that, say, talk with the bartender.
Talk with the bartender.
You say hello to the bartender, who puts down the glass he's been cleaning and looks at you.
What do you want?
You could ask for a bottle of whiskey to take to Francois or a beer for yourself.
A bottle of whiskey.
Sorry, the whiskey ran out. There won't be supplies coming for weeks. But you can have this empty bottle.
The bartender is clearly just having fun, but the bottle could be handy. Something around here might pass for whiskey or at least look similar. You put the bottle to your backpack. You can check your inventory at any time. To do this, say, "What is in my backpack?" You're in the canteen, in front of the counter. To the west, you can return to the courtyard out the door.
Go west.
You're in the middle of the courtyard.
The only way.
The entrance gate is to the north. The officers' quarters are to the south. The barracks are to the west. You came from the canteen to the east.
Go north.
A gate closes the exit of the fort reinforced with iron bars. Next to the entrance is the sentry's post. You can see the warehouse key hanging there. The guard stands next to the booth. The exit of the fortress is to the north. To the south, you can go back to the courtyard.
Go north.
Stop. What do you want here at the gate?
The guard demands an answer. What will you do? Try to trick the guard away from his post, ask him to let you out, or leave him?
Leave him.
You tell him you heard the prisoners talk about another attack on the fort. The guard initially doubts you, but his nerves get the better of him. He goes out the gate and begins to scan the horizon. You are at the gate of the garrison. The warehouse key hangs on the side of the guardhouse. The guard stands outside the gate and watches over the horizon. The exit of the fortress is to the north. To the south, you can go back to the courtyard.
Take the key.
You take the key while the guard is looking in the other direction.
Go south.
You're in the middle of the courtyard. You came from the gate to the north. The officers' quarters are to the south. The barracks are to the west. The canteen is to the east.
Go west.
You're in the barracks. A double door opens to the courtyard to the east, where you came from. A locked iron door leads to the storage room on the north side.
Go north.
The door blocks your way.
Unlock the door.
You remove the padlock with the key and unlock the storage room's door.
Go north.
The storage room is smaller than the dormitory. There are shelves and shelves of long-keeping food or various tools and spare clothes. Next to the shelves, you notice an open barrel full of gas oil. To the south is the barracks from which you came. There are no other exits from this room.
We fill the bottle.
You fill the bottle from the gasoline barrel. Then, roll the cap very firmly and clean the outside thoroughly. If Francois doesn't open it, you might deceive him.
Go east.
There's a wall in that direction.
Give the bottle. Go south.
You're in the barracks. A double door opens to the courtyard to the east. An opened iron door leads to the storage room on the north side, from where you came out.
Go east.
You're in the middle of the courtyard. The entrance gate is to the north. The officers' quarters are to the south. You came from the barracks to the west. The canteen is to the east.
Go south.
You are at the front desk of the headquarters building. Francois is watching you. To the north of the building is the door to the courtyard where you came in.
Give the bottle.
You hand over the bottle to Francois, who grabs it with eager anticipation. For a moment, he considers opening it then and there, but after glancing at the commander's office, he decides against it and hides the bottle under the table.
All right, I'm a man of my word. I'll tell you what I heard. The general arrived early in the morning. I have never seen him before, might I add. He was furious about the ambush and the losses we suffered. He was particularly concerned with poor Christopher. He asked for any possessions he left behind. I suppose he wants to take them to his family personally. Touching, really. Sorry, I got sidetracked. The bit you'll be interested in is that neither of them wants to take responsibility for the affair, so they'll probably blame the most senior officer. Oh, I'm sorry. That's you, isn't it? Hee hee.
The smug smile on Francois' face makes you want to smack him upside the head, but the fake whiskey will be punishment enough. You take a deep breath and try to collect your thoughts. The general wants you court-martialed, so your best bet is to disappear. The Legion doesn't treat deserters kindly, but you're doomed either way. You don't want to spend the next few years in a penalty camp. You'd rather escape and follow the traces of the temple. You quickly return to the warehouse and stack up on essential rations. You put back the storage key to cover your disappearance. You won't get far on foot, so you try to steal a car as soon as night falls. You check each one in a row until you finally find one unlocked. You're surprised to see that it's the general's car. Maybe this is poetic justice, you think to yourself and get in. You have to drive about 2,000 kilometers to reach the supposed location of the fortress described in the diary. You only have a few hours at best before you're discovered. It may help a little that they can't expect you to flee to the Sahara. Dawn arrives by the time you reach the oasis next to Adrar, a small-sized garrison. Thankfully, you know that they don't have radio contact with the Legion, so you feel relatively safe for the moment. You check your car's tank and notice it's close to empty. What will you do? Try to get fuel from the garrison, or keep away for now and hope for a better chance elsewhere?
Try to get fuel.
You drive as close to the garrison as possible while keeping a safe distance. A high fence surrounds the walls, where several trucks are parked. You spot a lot of canisters of gasoline right next to them. A soldier is guarding the vehicles, leaning on one of the trucks. You see two options before you. You can either sneak in and try to get some fuel unnoticed or ask for a refuel from the guard, hoping the general's car would be impressive enough to get him to help you. What will you do? Try to sneak in or ask the guard to refuel?
Ask for review.
You drive up to the gate and greet the guard. He seems to have just woken up from dozing off, so you decide to take advantage of the situation. Shouting with the most commanding voice you can muster, you reprimand him for sleeping on duty and order him to fill the tank immediately because the general is impatiently waiting for his car. He mumbles an apology and refuels the tank without hesitation. He also put an additional 4 canisters of gasoline in your car. You nod in approval and drive off quickly to continue your journey. You have gasoline for almost 2,000 kilometers, which is more than enough. After 3 days, the desert is replaced by a grassy savanna as you approach the jungle near Abuja. The road gets worse and worse. You're thinking of stopping when you notice a convoy of cars in your rearview mirror. They're approaching fast, and you recognize the Legion's logo on the cars' hoods. You're unsure if they've spotted you, so you get off the road and drive deep into the jungle, hoping the foliage will cover your tracks. After an hour or so, the trees are finally so dense that it becomes impossible to drive further. You try to back up, but it's no use. You're stuck. You leave the car, check the diary, and continue on foot. Soon, you reach the river marked on the map. The initially flat landscape begins to rise until the river finally moves into a steep-walled canyon. After a while, you notice a long stone staircase climbing up in the rock wall. You go uphill on stepping stones that lead to a wide plateau. As you get closer, you're astounded by an incredible sight. A giant fortress towers above you, right in the middle of the jungle, overrun by fauna but still intact. You quickly get Christopher's diary out of your backpack and flip through the pages. The scribblings next to the sketches read, "The Gathering of the Ancients." What could it mean? Your mind is racing, but you freeze when you notice the convoy of cars following you is parked next to the fortress. You quickly hide behind a wall but don't see a rotten wooden plank beneath your feet. The plank snaps in two with a loud crack, and you crash into the darkness below. You black out for a short time. You slowly get up and look around when you finally come to yourself. You are standing at the bottom of a 5-meter deep pit. You can see the sun's light, but the smooth stone walls are impossible to climb. Dust covers the floor. A dark tunnel leads to the north.
Go north. Go north.
You are walking carefully to avoid obstacles in the dark. The tunnel is getting tighter, and you have to go further on your knees. After a couple of meters, you reach a wider area where you can finally stand up. You are in a 3-meter wide and 5-meter high corridor. The walls are made from massive stones, overgrown with moss in several places. This place might be hundreds of years old. To the east, the tunnel leads to the dark, while a slight light comes from the west. Some rocks have fallen from the southern wall, and a dark, narrow hole is behind them. You came out from this hole.
Go west.
The tunnel ends in a small round room, which is almost empty. There are only a simple wooden table and a chair. A lamp on the table lights the room. The table is far from new, but it looks much younger than the walls of the room. The only way from this chamber leads to the east, where you came from.
Go east.
You are in a stone corridor. To the east, the tunnel leads to the dark, while a slight light comes from the west, where you came from. Some rocks have fallen from the southern wall, and a dark, narrow hole is behind them.
Go east.
You are trying to move forward in the dark, but suddenly, the ground opens under your feet. After falling a few meters, you hit the cold stone floor. You are in a small cell. If you spread your hands, you can reach both walls. A torch lights the room. Chains hang from both sides. You see the trapdoor 3 meters in height where you have fallen from. There is a massive stone door on the north wall. You are lucky because the door is not closed, but you only can see darkness behind it.
Go north.
You luckily survived falling into the cave and the trapdoor, but you don't want any other surprises. You don't go into the darkness without any light. Maybe you can remove the torch from the wall.
Take the torch.
You carefully pick up the torch and hold it in your left hand.
Go north.
You're in a grand, elongated, stone-walled room. Chains cover the walls, and many caps hang from the ceiling. There are several dark spots on the floor and the wall. You are shocked to realize it's a torture chamber where bloodstains cover the walls. Stone stairs lead to the east. Next to the stairs, water flows to the west and goes further to a small tunnel in the western wall. There are several heavy iron doors on the southern side of the room. Most of them are closed, but the one in the center is open. You came from this cell.
Go east.
You walk up the stairs that continue in a stone corridor. At the other end of it, you see a bright light. As you advance, the whole tunnel becomes brighter until you reach the sunlight. You take a deep breath of fresh air. So far, you did not trust that you would ever see the sun again. You look around when your eyes are used to the light. You are on the side of a steep slope on a protruding rocky edge. The vertical rock wall at least 30 meters high up and down. You do not have any chance of climbing in any direction. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the west, where you came from. To the south, a natural cave opens. To the east, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. A few meters above you, a spring breaks out from the rocks. The water flows down into a stone bowl in front of you. There is a wheel on the side of the bowl. Probably, it is some kind of valve. The water flows to the south from the bowl and disappears in the tunnel to the west.
Go east.
First, you put your weight on the skirts of the bridge very carefully, but you feel it is stable, so you move forward with confidence. You are in the middle of the bridge when you notice a dog barking from the bottom of the abyss. You quickly lie down and look out between the decks of the bridge. Approximately 10 people underload a boat at the bottom of the gap. As soon as they finish, the boat goes back and disappears into the canyon bend. The group underneath enters a huge carved stone gate beneath you. They are probably the ones who arrived with the cars you have seen before. You have to hurry. As soon as you make sure no one is watching, you walk fast across the bridge to the stone room on the opposite side. You arrive at a smaller place carved into the rock wall. There is a window on the western wall where you can see the bottom of the gap for a long range. Probably long ago, this place was used for a guard post. From there, they could keep an eye on everyone who approached the gate below. The floor is empty. The bridge over the gap leads to the west, where you came from. To the north, a door opens to a spacious hall.
Go north.
You're standing in a large bright hall. On the western side, the light comes through 2 stone windows. Next to the wall, 4 stone beds are carved out. Formerly, this room could function as a barrack where the guards could rest. There is a smoky fireplace on the eastern wall. Dust covers everything. This place has not been used for a long time. A rope ladder is lying on the floor. There is the guard room to the south, where you came from.
Take the ladder.
You take the rope ladder.
Go south.
You are in the guard room. The bridge over the gap leads to the west. To the north, a door opens to a spacious hall where you came from.
Go west.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the
Here
west.
is the puzzle.
To the south, a natural cave opens. To the east, where you came from, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the cave to the west.
Go south.
You are in a spacious natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a massive stone door blocks the way to the south. Next to the door, a wooden lever stands out from the wall.
Pull the lever.
When you pull the lever, the stone door to the south opens loudly. You see a dark room behind it.
Go south.
You arrived in a large square room. There is a 2-meter tall statue of a cross-legged man in the middle of the eastern wall. When you investigate the statue, you find its left eye is a square-shaped diamond, and the right eye is missing. You came from the north. To the south, a massive stone door blocks your way. A tunnel leads to the west.
Oh, go north.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south where you came from.
Go south.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is missing. You came from the north. To the south, a massive stone door blocks your way. A tunnel leads to the west.
Go west.
You are in a stone corridor. To the east, where you came from, the tunnel leads to the dark, while a slight light comes from the west. Some rocks have fallen from the southern wall, and a dark, narrow hole is behind them.
Go west.
You arrived at the desk. The only way from this chamber leads to the east, where you came from.
Go east.
You are in a stone corridor. To the east, the tunnel leads to the dark, while a slight light comes from the west, where you came from. Some rocks have fallen from the southern wall, and a dark, narrow hole is behind them.
Go north.
There's a wall in that direction.
Go east.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is missing. There is an open door and a dark cave behind it to the north. To the south, a massive stone door blocks your way. A tunnel leads to the west, where you came from.
Go north.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south where you came from.
Go north.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of
Can we
you.
rotate the wheel?
Dark tunnel leads to the west. To the south, where you came from, a natural cave opens. To the east, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the cave to the west.
Rotate the wheel.
When you rotate the wheel, the bowl's right side closes, and the left opens. Water splashes into the abyss with a great shudder.
Go west.
You are in the torture chamber. Stone stairs lead to the east where you came from. A small tunnel starts on the western wall. There are several heavy iron doors on the southern side of the room. Most of them are closed, but the one in the center is open.
Go west.
On your knees, you can fit into the tunnel. The floor is wet, but you can easily climb forward. After about 50 meters, you reach the end of the tunnel. You arrived at a vaulted room of about 10 meters in diameter. The stream you follow goes into the middle of the hall, where it crosses the floor with a great enclosed opening. In the middle of the pool, a round stone column rises. There is a bright sapphire gem on the top of the column. The only way out leads to the east. You can go back to the creek.
Take the sapphire.
You take the sapphire.
Go east.
You are in the torture chamber. Stone stairs lead to the east. A small tunnel starts on the western wall where you came from. There are several heavy iron doors on the southern side of the room. Most of them are closed, but the one in the center is open.
Go east.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the west, where you came from. To the south, a natural cave opens. To the east, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the north and falls to the deep.
Go south.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south.
Go south.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is missing. You came from the north. To the south, a massive stone door blocks your way. A tunnel leads to the west.
Fit the sapphire. Oh.
Sorry, but I don't understand.
Insert the sapphire.
When you put the sapphire to the right eye of the statue, the southern stone door opens loudly.
Go south.
You came to another stone room. In the middle of it, there is a round-shaped stone well. The well is about 1 meter in diameter and leads to darkness. You drop the rock into the well. After a while, you hear a crack. The bottom of the well is dry. You came from the north. A dark corridor leads to the west.
Enter the well. Climb down.
You look into the well, but you do not see the bottom, and the walls are entirely smooth. You cannot climb down safely.
Put the rope ladder.
You attach the rope ladder to the edge of the well and roll it down. You hear when the end of the ladder hits the bottom of the well. You pull it tight, and you see it is massive. You can safely go down with it. This is the first time you need to move vertically. Say go up or go down to move up or down. Now say go down after the beep to climb into the well.
Go down.
You attach the torch to your bag and head down on the rope ladder. You climb down to the well, step by step. Some stones fall into the depths as you hit the wall, but the rope ladder holds you safely. A few meters above the ground, the walls of the well disappear, and you descend to the ground. You arrived at a large cave. On the walls, you can see traces of water. In the past, an underground river flew here, and the well was used to take fresh water from it. The cave is crushed to the south by a rock crash. Probably, this closed the way of the water. The rope ladder leads up where you came from, and the cave goes to the north from where a faint light filters in.
Go north.
You reached the bottom of the abyss. You stand on an outstanding cliff that is surrounded by water. 30 meters above your head, the suspension bridge goes across the ravine that you used earlier. There is a cave to the south where you came from, and a huge stone gate opens on the other side of the river to the east. Stone steps stand out from the water. You can make your way to the other side of the river, but the falling waterfall makes it impossible.
Go east.
The waterfall falling from the above make it impossible to go through the river on the stones.
Go south.
You are at the bottom of the well.
Climb back and
the rope ladder leads up, and the cave goes to the north where you came from.
Climb up.
You are in the room of the well. You climbed here with the ladder. Dark corridors lead to the north and the west.
Go north.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye of the statue is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is a sapphire. You came from the south. To the north, there is an open door and a dark cave behind it. A tunnel leads to the west.
Go north.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south where you came from.
Go north. Go north.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the west. To the south, where you came from, a natural cave opens. To the east, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the north and falls to the deep.
Rotate the wheel.
When you rotate the wheel, the bowl's left side closes, and the right opens. The water flows into the cave to the west.
Go south.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south.
Go south.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye of the statue is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is a sapphire. You came from the north. To the south, you see a dark corridor. A tunnel leads to the west.
Go south.
You are in the room of the well. You came from the north. A dark corridor leads to the west. A rope ladder goes down inside the well.
Climb down.
You are at the bottom of the well. The rope ladder leads up where you came from, and the cave goes to the north from where a faint light filters in.
Go north.
You are in the bottom of the abyss. There is a cave to the south where you came from, and a huge stone gate opens on the other side of the river to the east. Stone steps stand out from the water. You can make your way to the other side of the river.
Go east.
Going from stone to stone, you cross the river and enter the stone door. You arrive in a vast place, intended as an entrance hall when it was built. The walls are decorated with ornate carvings and paintings. To the east, there is a wide and illuminated corridor. You hear a distant conversation from this direction. Dark stone tunnels lead to the north and to the south. The exit to the bottom of the gap opens to the west, where you came from.
Go south. Go south.
You arrive at a square stone room. When looking around, you notice the same stone statue as you have seen before at the southern wall. Both eyes of the statue are missing. To the north, an open door leads to the entrance hall you came from. To the east, a massive stone door blocks your way.
Go north.
You are in the entrance room. To the east, there is a wide and illuminated corridor. You hear a distant conversation from this direction. Dark stone tunnels lead to the north and to the south, where you came from. The exit to the bottom of the gap opens to the west.
Go north.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north and to the east. A slightly lighted hallway goes to the south, where you came from.
Go north.
You arrive in a bigger room. It is mostly empty, but the western wall is covered with large wooden crates. The hall was previously used as a storage room. Dark corridors lead to the south where you came from and to the east.
Check the crate.
You look at the crates to find something useful, but drop one of the dusty, empty boxes after the other. You are about to give up when you find a door that opens behind the crate on the western wall. You scrape the debris and completely free the entrance. Behind the door, there is a spiral staircase upwards.
Go south. Go south.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north, where you came from, and to the east. A slightly lighted hallway goes to the south.
Go east.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north and also to the west, where you came from.
Go north.
You are in a small stone room. Dark corridors lead to the south, where you came from, and to the west.
Go south.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north, where you came from, and also to the west.
Go west.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north and to the east, where you came from. A slightly lighted hallway goes to the south.
Go north.
You are in the storage room. Dark corridors lead to the south where you came from and to the east. A caracole goes up at the western wall.
Climb this stair.
The spiral staircase wiggles upwards for a long time until it ends in a stone door. You successfully outspread it. You go out from the back of the fireplace. You look around and find you have come to a familiar place. You have been here before. You are in the barrack. There is the guard room to the south. You came from a hidden door behind the stove to the east.
Go south. So now I guess I have to remove... go south.
You are in the guard room.
So now I guess I have to remove...
The bridge over the gap leads to the west. To the north, a door opens to a spacious hall where you came from.
Go west.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the west. To the south, a natural cave opens. To the east, where you came from, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the cave to the west.
Go south. Go south.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south.
Go south.
You are in the room of the gem-eyed statue. The left eye of the statue is a walnut-sized diamond, and the right eye is a sapphire. You came from the north. To the south, you see a dark corridor. A tunnel leads to the west.
Take the diamond.
You pick up the diamond from the eye of the statue. You hear a click from the northern door, but nothing else happens.
Take the sapphire.
When you pick up the sapphire, the southern stone door closes loudly.
Go north.
You are in a natural cave. Slight brightness comes from the north, and a dark hall opens to the south where you came from.
Go north.
You arrived at the waterfall. To the north, only the deep in front of you. Dark tunnel leads to the west. To the south, where you came from, a natural cave opens. To the east, a bridge goes over the deep. It looks old but stable. The water from the bowl with the wheel flows to the cave to the west.
Go east.
You are in the guard room. The bridge over the gap leads to the west, where you came from. To the north, a door opens to a spacious hall.
Go north.
You are in the barrack. There is the guard room to the south, where you came from. A hidden staircase opens behind the stove to the east.
Climb down the stair.
The wall is entirely smooth outside. You cannot go down to the bottom of the gap here.
Climb the staircase.
You go down on the spiral staircase. You are in the storage room. Dark corridors lead to the south and to the east. The caracole goes up, where you came from.
Go south.
You are in an underground room made from stone. Dark corridors lead to the north, where you came from, and to the east. A slightly lighted hallway goes to the south.
Go south.
You are in the entrance room. To the east, there is a wide and illuminated corridor. You hear a distant conversation from this direction. Dark stone tunnels lead to the north, where you came from, and to the south. The exit to the bottom of the gap opens to the west.
Should I try go east? Go east.
You do not want to attract attention, so you don't go in the direction of the conversation.
Go south.
You are in the room of the other statue.
Okay,
To the north,
try
an
it.
open door leads to the entrance hall you came from. To the east, a massive stone door blocks your way.
Insert gems.
When you put the diamond to the eye of the statue, the northern stone door closes loudly. When you put the sapphire to the eye of the statue, the eastern stone door opens loudly.
Go east.
You arrive at the side of an underground theater. There is an auditorium deepening towards the stage in front of you. In the middle of the stage, about 20 people are chanting around. You get behind a protrusion and watch what happens. A quarter of an hour later, the chanting ceases. They start a quiet discussion. They are too far away to hear what they talk about. You move closer with careful steps, but in the steep auditorium, you lose your balance and fall to the middle of the stage. You're trying to get up, but one of them knocks you out with a rifle. You lose your consciousness. You awake in the back of a truck. You don't know where you are going, but your future looks pretty dark. Congratulations, you completed the first episode. I hope you enjoyed our little journey.
So that's all. I mean, that's it. So yeah, I won't be purchasing episode 2 or 3 unless someone wishes, because it is too pricey. It is like RM39 for both. So yeah, I won't be purchasing.
Pop.
So here we are.
Pop.
End of the game.
Game. Pop. Quit. Episode 2. Buy episodes. Buy episode 2 and 3 RM39.90. Button.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Episodes. Button.
Pricey, yeah.
Info. Settings. Button.
So I guess that will be it.
At VOTA. Active. Home. Be my eyes.
I guess that will be it.
Control center.
So hope to see
Selected.
you on
Screen recording.
another video.
Button.
If you have any comments,
Actions available.
feel free to leave in the comment box, and I will try to respond to them. So yep. See you next time.